Hello Casa Mais, and a very warm welcome to our lovely little house. This little house is my project, a vacation rental home, and I wanted to respect the characteristics of the original design. It was the second house to be built in this Outeiro das Brisas condominium. Everyone changed the original design. I didn't change it either because I liked this design or also because I didn't have the money when I did the renovation. So it was a collaborative project with my Instagram followers where I showed them different facade color options. So I showed an orange option, a yellow one, and a pink one. My followers voted for this blue one, and I respected their choice. And today the little house is ready and open, and I'm going to show you all the whole process for you. Just so you understand, we're on top of a cliff. I've always dreamed of this house. My house, the one everyone sees on Instagram and so on, Casa Chipo, is by the beach. It's a big house with a garden. It's a different concept. It's a new house that I built from scratch. This one I respected. It was already an existing house. And I just gave it a few light touches and added my own identity because everyone knows I'm an interior designer. And today I have my own studio in interior architecture, so I just gave it that touch-up, that makeover, because it really needed it. Hi everyone, we're here with the newest challenge from Bahian Studio, which is to renovate this little house in a completely interactive way. And just so you understand the location, Outeiro das Brisas is a very, very, very large condominium. When people say, oh, it's Outeiro, I'm going to rent a house here, I'm going to rent a house there. No, it's a city. It's the size of Trancoso. So we have the cliffs, we have the village, we have the square. And this little house, its location couldn't be more perfect. It's right in front of the church. The kids here can run free. And over there we have the sea and a path down to the beach, which has an incredible view. Let me take a moment to show you the beautiful landscaping we have done. You might be wondering what exactly I did here. Well, I carefully lit up all the palm trees so that at night the dramatic lighting creates a stunning atmosphere that really brings the whole garden to life. Washes over their trunks, it looks really beautiful. And when I'm inside, there's this depth of garden. And here, since there's a bathroom here, I put this cigar plant, which is beautiful. This plant to make this area bigger and give me a bit of privacy. Back here, I have my whole gas system, etc. I put the gas outside the house, right? You know? And then I added this layer of alpinia. These chairs are Danish, they're beautiful. And I love sitting here. Since we're in front of the soccer field in the afternoon, it's just wonderful watching people go by here. I put out a bowl with a little white wine, sit down, and wait for the kids from here, you know. My late afternoons are always spent here. I love it. The little house, when I bought it, it was really old. No renovations at all, with different colors, the garden too. Here the air conditioners were exposed. So the idea was to respect the original design because this house is one of the oldest in the area and to give it a makeover, but using only the best materials. We changed the electrical system, redid the plumbing, and there was no landscaping at all. So here I planted these Jamaican ferns, which do really well in the shade. They're looking beautiful. It's a plant we use a lot because it acts as ground cover. What is ground cover? When you have grass, shrubs, and trees, ground cover is what finishes the space between the grass and the first level of shrubs. Here, we wanted to plant a vine to create a green wall, so I put up this chicken wire mesh because I didn't have the money to make a vertical garden with irrigation and all that. So the solution was to use chicken wire, take this plant called Sete Leguas, and keep attaching it as it grows. In the project, I didn't want to change much, not only because I wanted to keep the house's original design, but also because I didn't have the money. So we did the renovation with the bare minimum. We called on several partners, which was essential for the house to have this charm with the investment I made. So I wanted to have this refuge, which nowadays is my favorite hideaway. I'm always here, and honestly, I'm biased because I never want to leave. And what was the solution here? Since there's only one bedroom, I'll show you. We got this sofa bed from Unique, which is super comfortable. They sent it over, and I love this fabric. So when the kids come over, they sleep here We set up a mosquito net and they sleep here and feel like they're camping. There's a TV and everything. They really like it. And here in the half bath, there used to be a shower, but I didn't like the electric shower in the middle of this. I didn't think it was elegant because I like a half bath with a countertop, the biggest possible surface, so you can put a vase of flowers, a lamp, and if there's space, a little towel and some fragrance. So here I expanded it. This used to be the shower divider, and here was the shower, you see? I still kept the plumbing point. So I put the toilet here and here, where there used to be a toilet and a very small sink. I replaced them with large countertops, 5 centimeters thick, which looks super elegant. The one below doesn't have to be. So always in the bathroom, you can make this plank here wider and then make the one below a little less deep, as if it were the slope. And you don't necessarily need to use the same thickness of wood. You're already saving money. Look here, I used a lot of artists from the region. This is G. Nilsson from the Vine of the Forest. Look at this work of art. I painted the bathroom with a checkered pattern with a local artist, Naru, and I took these prints from one of my books. And I invited Renata Sader from Studio Renata Sader to make the passe-partout with this texture. It turned out so beautiful. And this isn't bamboo, okay guys? This here was a seedling from Fernando, I'll tag him here, who imitated bamboo, but it's actually wood, see? Wood with a bit of bitumen to give it that aged look. So the powder room, look, checkered with brown, yellow and brown. I really like this combination. Over there you have the view, right, of the palm trees, the cliffs, and a really nice breeze comes in. I put up a screen because of the mosquitoes, and that's very important. The powder room, since it's a cozy kind of bathroom, and sometimes it's at the main ceiling height of the house, and the ceiling, if it's too high, it gets very... It doesn't feel cozy right now. However, it is a good idea to lower the ceiling height of this powder room by using this woven ceiling to create a much more intimate atmosphere. There's this ceiling here which looks beautiful and creates an atmosphere. This warm yellow light on the brownish ceiling adds a special charm. This faucet here was also super cheap at Leroy Merlin. Whenever I'm on a tight budget, I use it because it's made of, right? It looks like brass, copper. This here is also by a local artist. It's by Hator, made with coconut shell, right? If by any chance someone is sleeping, she can put her dentures here. Another beautiful piece which I bought later, right? After I paid off the renovation. I bought myself a Kennedy Bahia as a gift, who is an artist I'm a huge fan of. I have one in my other house, Sipho, one from the 1960s. And this one here is a Kennedy in pastel, blue tones, which matches our little house since the color is blue, which you all chose, right? So when I saw this Kennedy Bahia, I thought, wow, it couldn't be more perfect. And the colors are already, anyway, I thought it would go really well together. I'm in love with this one, Kennedy Bahia. Here, I'm going to turn it on. It's also created by a talented artist whom I really admire, Silvina. Silvina is an Argentinian ceramicist, and she brings this, she made this imanja, which is very, anyone who comes here to Trancoso knows the quadrado. All the inns, pretty much everyone has a Silvina Yemanja. So it became a classic. You know how every house has to have a Silvina Yemanja? At my other house, I even did a ritual to inaugurate my Yemanja. When the house was finished, I unveiled that Yemanja I had bought along with the land. I didn't even know if it would work out or not. And I got emotional because I always stayed in hotels and there was always an Yemanja. I used to say, I'm going to have an Yemanja for myself. And on February 2nd, we always have the Odoya celebration. I think this one is really beautiful. So I kept the original kitchen because what were the options? When I saw that I was going to renovate then, it was a matter of analyzing the budget and the concept. I thought, wow, I'm going to break down this wall here. And I was going to build in the kitchen, this part with the fridge and so on. It's bigger, it's kind of blocking the way a little, but not really, you can still get by. I was going to put the kitchen here in the half bath. And I was going to create another half bath outside. But then, because of the budget really, I didn't have money to spend, so I kept it as it was. I only changed the half bath, which used to be a bathroom with an electric shower. I removed the electric shower because I don't really like electric showers, especially for guests. That makes all the difference. And I left the kitchen as it was. I just added this cabinet for support. This was done with Mili Marcenaria. We made these 2 spice racks and this really great set of drawers. It has wheels, so I can move it however I want. I changed everything, the refrigerator, etc. Here, look, I'm a bit neurotic about organization, you know, right, guys? Anyone who follows me knows that. I changed it for rental. We have everything set up, frying pans, sets of pots and pans. You really don't need to bring anything. And if the guest wants, we also have the option to hire someone to make breakfast and lunch. Basically, whatever the guest wants, we can arrange it. So here, this cabinet, I always talk about it, about Messias, who owns the antique shop in Trancoso. Messias gave me this cabinet as a gift to use here. And I left everything neatly arranged because I think that when you have dishes on display, you have to take that approach. Since it's something functional, you need to have access, and when it's open, it's even easier, but then you have to organize it decoratively because it becomes a texture. If it's messy, it will be a texture. It will be noise in your design, and for the design to stay clean, everything has to be very tidy. Here is a painting by a local artist. Also a French woman, Sophie, who painted Caraíva. She does these watercolors. She has a very beautiful shop in Caraíva. Here is also a shop from Arraial da Ajuda, which is Laise. It's wonderful. It has lots of cute little things. I like to serve breakfast in small portions. I think it looks charming. I have 4 of these in various colors that you can mix and match or use the same. See? Small portions. It all looks very charming, like a little couple. Then, if there's a staff member, she sets up the breakfast. It's an experience. This was already in the house. I didn't even like this cabinet very much, but also thinking about not throwing things away, making the most of them, I made use of it too. Rental house. What's the concept when you design a house for short-term rental? The idea is that the guests shouldn't feel like they're in a hotel, so it needs to have a little bit of what? A bit more comfort, aesthetics, lists, etc. You bring a bit of the coziness of a home. It's not that very sterile hotel feel, but you also can't have personal items or leftover dishes. So this cleanliness in the bed linens and on the table, the set table, everything here is white, functional. There's even a milk jug, which I always joke about here. At breakfast, when you set the table, you don't put out the packaging, you know? You always change it up. Just by doing that, it completely changes your table. So the glasses, plates, cake stand. Oh, let me show you something from Finaflor. Look at this. Casames is showing it off. Look what Finaflor made for me. Embroidery on linen, it's wonderful. And so I buy everything kind of matching. It still needs to be ironed, okay guys? Casames, we're opening it up. But do you see how these 3 match each other? So if I have a table for 6, I can use 2, I have 4 of these. So you don't get tired of them, but they're variations on the same theme. This is good when people ask me, because a lot of people do, how do I build a collection? I say choose things that go together. Of course, matching things too. Well, we'll talk about that later in my hearts course, because matching is an exercise. But if you have things with the same theme, it gets easier. IKEA is really cute, guys. So what did I do here? Since sometimes someone might sleep here, so the clothes don't just get left around, you know, just thrown anywhere, right? Like the tidying up fanatic. And to make it more comfortable, I made a dresser, but not one that looks like a dresser, more like a sideboard. I designed it and Abrão built it. Look at the craftsmanship of the carpenter Abrão with these leather handles. This piece of furniture just arrived. That's why I'm making this video now, because I was waiting for it. So the person sets up their little home here at night, sleeps here, but during the day, it's a little home. If someone wants to come in, you can welcome them. It doesn't feel like a bedroom. Here are the figas, which I always have in all my houses. I put the figas. I bought this box at Servo. Ours over in São Paulo also has a program. On YouTube, go check it out. There's another episode at Servo Novo with Marcela. This balanganda as well. Do you know the stories of the balanganda? Balanganda. The enslaved women couldn't have the same jewelry as the ladies. So they would take coins and so on, and they would melt them down and make their own jewelry, the jewelry of the enslaved women. And then they would walk around here, look, hanging as a kind of status symbol, right? With their jewelry. And for the master, it was also a status symbol to have a slave with a lot of balangandang. And that's a lot of production. I always talk about producing. Here I have a book by Abdias Nascimento, which I bought at MASP. This one I buy a lot at used bookstores. Books about Bahia, the Caribbean. All of this gives a... When you're going to design a house, it's very interesting. This richness of detail for you to complete doesn't make sense. For me to put here a book about the American Olympics. Here, this piece of furniture I found at Casa Rustica in Porto Seguro. And it's that thing about having an eye for it, right, guys? It's like working out. It's all about training your eye. I'm in touch with the antique dealers. They send me things. We talk almost daily, photos of everything. When they send a photo of a warehouse, like packed full, when your eye is already trained, you spot it right away. I said, I want that sideboard. I didn't even ask for the measurements. Later, of course, before bringing it here, since shipping is complicated, I made sure of the measurements. But when I said it, I just knew, bam, it's for here. That sideboard fit like a glove. This one here, I bought in Parati at an antique shop called From Luxury to Trash. I just fell in love with these apples. I saw them in a house in Parati that I rented from Antonio Pinto, who I think is the greatest interior designer ever. And I managed to find these really beautiful fruits made of soft wood, you know, you could even use them for exercise. And here, the hats, which I think are so simple, but they add a certain charm. The little curtain, we bring it over here. Let's see. This here was also by Fina Flor Maison. Why? Just a reminder, sometimes someone sleeps here. The whole house is covered in mirrors, so I made sure to put blackout curtains everywhere. It worked, it's nice and snug. And these beautiful curtains that Fina Flor also made for me. And I am completely in love with Anusha's work. It's so elegant. That studio over in Leblon. Look at this trim with these colors that we chose. And another thing from Fina Flor, which was a partnership with my studio, Studio Berendt. I don't know if you noticed, but I made these lamps, which I source from the backlands of Bahia, and I choose the wood for its tone. We make them by hand on the lathe because the openings are irregular, so it's all handcrafted work. And I designed these little houses and asked Anu to embroider them in the same shade as the curtain, in mustard. Look how delicate this is. Guys, this is from Studio Berendt, together with Fina Flor. Here there's also another work by an artist I love, Rafaela Jordão, who does this weaving. She even gave me this piece for cheapo, but because of the color palette, I said, guys, it's the little house. And here too, from Minas Gerais at Liana's studio, I'll tag it here. And these little plaques that I think really give a whole, because the little house is really fun, right? So this one I also found at Casa Rusca. Books from Bahia Orixás, look at that. Pierre Verger, Book of the Orixás, Livre em Bahia, from Taschen. So you start bringing the guest into a certain atmosphere, right? I really wanted this garden. A lot of people moved in and took advantage by adding more rooms. I like gardens, you already know, I like flowers. There was a coconut tree here that was dead, and a maidenhair fern that I gave to someone else. I put it in the back to give the neighbor some privacy. I kept this one because I have a neighbor too, but here I planted it, Emperor's Staff. I made this half moon of Emperor's Staff with a finish of guembe. And there, in the back, I left the iris that was already there, which is the shorter one that gives a beautiful flower, and I planted charuta as well to give it the finishing touch. This was already here. We didn't even paint the wall. There's a clothesline, there's an outdoor shower. It's a little house for you to have an experience. Seriously, just rent it. 1 month here will change your life. So, what happens here? There used to be a door here which led to a very narrow laundry room, because just imagine 2 by 1 meter, plus the sink, plus the washing machine. It was really bad here. A door here. So I said, guys, instead of making people come in here, I'm going to finish off the garden here. It's fine to have this hose here because, as I said, I'm crazy about gardening. This garden is impeccable. But I closed it off and opened it up over here. And here I created a laundry room because, as I said, the idea is for the guests to have a true Bahian experience, so they might stay for a month, 2 months. So they need to be independent. So here I put a long cabinet. If it's messy, forgive me, guys. Here, the cleaning supplies. There's even a gym, some workout equipment. There's a pull-up bar over there. Can you see the bar, guys? Crazy person, the pull-up bar. It's messy here. I'll show you. And then on this side, I made a laundry room. So here, there's a washing machine. The guest opens it. Everything is within reach. They hang it on the clothesline. If it's raining, I have this standing clothes rack. And it stays here, guys. Oh, let me show you this from Fina Floor as well. These are the chairs of Abrão. Look at the work we did with Fina Floor, the little embroidered palm trees on linen, guys. It's a real treasure. And I also forgot to show the loungers that Fina Floor. Then it was Miralva who made the cushions. Miralva is an artist from this region as well. She's really good. She makes mosquito nets, bedspreads, upholstery. So all the sofas, I usually have Abrão make them and then send them to Miralva to do the padding. And then Fina Floor finished it off with these pillows. It's really fancy, honestly, guys. Very fancy to be outside, yes, but why not? Look how beautiful this embroidered fish is on sisal. And I chose the coral upholstery, mainly because I really like this vibrant green and red color palette. Here I kept the original floor, which was this cement that was already worn out. As I always say, polished cement is a love-hate thing. I love it, so I leave it just as it is. I like this yellow. And I just complemented it with new tiles. Here it was really damaged, and I wanted to create this Alice in Wonderland Wizard of Oz path, you know? Everyone asks me about this ceramic. I buy it here in Bahia. They have it in São Paulo too. Nowadays you can find everything. But here I buy it at Italuisa. And I think it's really cute. And it changed the house a lot. I'll show you. Just by doing this here, look. Here the air conditioners used to be here. The dirty drain. It was put here. I embedded all of this into the wall. You can even see a little bit. Snake pipe. I did a whole new installation so that the drain would already be here in the garden. No one can see it. Because before there was that pipe. And it would get dirty over time. Not to mention you would lose this framing, right? Maybe because I used to be a party set designer. I think a lot about framing. So this framing here, the coming and going, makes me happy, both during the day and at night when I turn on the light. This rug here is a collaboration between me and Nelson dos Tapetes, which is a beautiful factory in Itaipava in Rio de Janeiro. And this rug is called Fernanda because I designed it. It's super simple with this color. And you can look for Letitia, who is just lovely. Nelson has 6 daughters, each one more beautiful than the other. They all work with him. It's a beautiful family story. Possibly soon there will be a show just about them. And here as well, this composition I made together with Anusha from Afina Floor, which she made. Look how charming it is. I wanted a little bit of pattern, but not too much. So we made these and they turned out really beautiful. And this sofa bed is wonderful. It's also from Unique, a partner of mine. Here again, look, this is a typical Brazilian thing. I borrowed a book from Brazil because a lot of foreigners come here, right? Interiors, Cachaça, Trancoso. This book is super famous for its focus on houses in Trancoso. It's already inspiring. It's so nice to sit here in a hammock and look at these houses because it's really beautiful here, guys. For those who don't know the region, come, because honestly, there's no place in the world like this. The south of Bahia. We're in the bedroom. This wardrobe already had lattice work, which is great for letting things breathe, for ventilating the bed linens. When we rent it out, the guest already has everything. The whole set of linens is provided. Let me see if everything is tidy. It's tidy, but it's not quite the way I leave it. We left an umbrella because sometimes there are sudden rain showers, which don't last long and are wonderful. Towels, beach towels, everything here is included. Here as well, the collection. We did this with Fina Floor. Look how amazing this is, guys. Nasha made it. A lot of people ask me how I decorate a house. Really, since the bed is a king, kings are 2 by 2. So we make a big pillow for the back, which is 90 by 70, meaning 90 plus 90, 1.80 meters. It covers almost the whole bed. And then you can play around with whatever you want in front. So we put together this ensemble. We made this cover. It's not a bedspread. We already have the PK bedspread here from Budemeyer, and all of this here in linen was made with Anusha. Another thing I did as well, look, the Berend studio here on the lamps, I took this linen right from Entreposto, since they have these big sales. So sometimes I get some fabric scraps and I make some lampshades to put on the lamps. This one is from Abrau again. And here I asked Renata Sader to draw a watercolor and the passe-partout so we could play with this arrangement of standing and lying down. And Renata, she is so talented, guys. I sent her another reference and she does it even better than the reference. She really is talented. What do I leave here a lot? Dehumidifier. I have one in my whole house. Even in São Paulo, I have one. Here in Bahia, you need to have even more because it holds back the humidity. Otherwise, if you leave the house closed up here, in 3 days, it's already damp. So we always keep the dehumidifier on. This is the bathroom where we put the hairdryer, toilet paper, everything here. And then the liquid soap, a little flour. Here I closed it off with a screen and installed a shower and a wonderful silent pressure pump. This is because we have a septic tank, so I put this in every house I build or design. And besides that, everything else was kept as is. Look how cute it is. Mosquito net too. People ask me about it. Faye, what should be the size of the mosquito net? I like mosquito nets that cover the bedside table. But here it wasn't possible, guys. Otherwise, it would be too cramped. Here, I couldn't get it to reach the bedside table. So you have to, there's no rule. You have to analyze it based on the space you have. Here I couldn't. The bed is huge. If I put up the mosquito net, just imagine the bed is 2 meters wide. To cover the side table, it would have to be a structure 3 meters, 3 meters 20 wide. And that would get in the way of opening the door and walking around the suite. Again, look at the Fina floor curtain. Look at this linen, guys. You have no idea. You'd want to touch it. Does it look like paper? It's thick. Look at this little blue thread. And the best part is here, where no one can see it. Oh no. The hammock, Reed is for you, always sending me beautiful hammocks too. And here comes the sea, look. Here we're in the middle of the cliff. Look at the sea over there. And here, the little church. The moon sets right here. And it's wonderful, guys. There's nothing else to do. This was my little house. You all were asking a lot. It's our little house. A house that's my refuge, but that I also rent out for short stays. And I make a point of ensuring that people have this Bahian experience that I have. Because it's so good and it changes your life, we become more relaxed. It brings more lightness. It's your life in the city where you live.